Hi Flosstube, I'm Jennifer. This is Stitching with the Waves. Welcome. I'm so excited to talk to you guys today about my cross stitch. I've got a big FFO that I want to show you. I've got some cross stitch whips. I've got some petit point, and I've got some quilting. Of course, I've got haul and plans and all the things. So let's jump in. I'm back to filming on a Friday afternoon. It's November 6th, and our schedule's changed up a bit this week because my kids' school is now in the second quarter, and our school board made some changes to the daily schedules to try and help with workload and kind of balance it out for the middle school and high school age kids. So now my kids' schedules have flip-flopped on Wednesdays and Thursdays, and that has like kind of thrown a wrench into it. We were in a routine, we kind of knew what was going on, and now this week we had to switch up our schedules quite a bit. So that's been a little bit of getting used to, and it means that I am back to filming on a Friday afternoon, which is nice. The lighting in here is so much better on the afternoon side, I feel like. So hopefully you'll be able to see everything really great. And let's just jump in and get started with cross stitch, yeah? So first one, get it over here because it's kind of big and heavy, is my Kringles. I got it framed. I might have to stand up. Hold on. Let me scoot back a little here so you can see the whole thing. Where is the whole thing? Okay, move the chair back more. I didn't test this out before I started. There we go. Okay, the whole thing. So I found this frame at a thrift shop. I'll bring it in a little bit closer and kind of pan up. I found the frame in a thrift shop. It was $4.50. I found another one that would have fit just the stitched part perfectly without the mat. And then this one had the mat in it. So I kind of decided over the weekend where I wanted to hang this and picked the frame with the mat and did my very first ever framing job by myself. So I'm going to quickly take the back off. So this is what the back looks like. It just has these, here's one, the little tabs that you bend up in order to get this out. So give me 1 second. I will take this out and I'll show you how I finished it myself to frame it. Okay, so here we go. This is the stitch piece, just finished on a piece of foam core that I'm gonna say is probably a 1/4 inch thick foam core. And what I did was, see if you can see, I used Lady Robin's tip of making a line. I made mine 2 inches from the top of the stitching because that's how much bigger my board was than my piece. And I just ran a line straight across in the linen, trying to stay right on the same thread of the linen all the way across. And let me see if I can get that up close enough to focus. Is it gonna focus? I have to get out of the way maybe. Nope, it's too... Can you see it on the end there? No, it won't focus on the end very well, guys, because it's too thin, but I'll just explain. So Robin recommended taking a thread and running it through so you get a nice straight running stitch all the way across right on the thread that you want to be on, so you can make sure your piece is really straight. I decided to cheat a little bit on that and used my friction pen. It's this one, it's heat erasable. And I ran the lines down around each side of the fabric while it was laying flat. I measured out the 2 inches on all 4 sides and ran that line around the edge. And I decided if that didn't get it straight enough for me, I'd go back and take the time to put the running stitch in on all 4 sides, but the line with the friction pen worked perfectly. So then I was able to take sequin pins. They're 3/4 of an inch long, and I really wish I could get it to focus on the edge of this thing. Let's see if we can get the corner to focus. Did it focus on there yet? Yeah. Now, can you see the edge? No. Edge is always blurry. No idea how to get that to focus. But it's these little tiny sequin pins, and the heads are just a tiny bit rounded. It's not like a regular pin that has a big ball head like this. It's a very flat head on the pin. So when you put it into the foam core, it's flat. The foam core is like 2 pieces of poster board with a piece of foam in the center. So if you carefully stick your pin into the end, you can just slide it right in between the 2 pieces of poster board right into the foam. So I did that, and I put Oh, that looks like it might be focusing pretty well now. Crazy. Okay, so I put a pin, I would say every 1/4 to 1/2 inch all the way around. I started off, I put one pin on this side, one pin on this side, one in the top, one in the center of the bottom, and then I just did all 4 corners. And I started going and I put one pin in between the corner and the center. I put one in there and did that all the way around, and then went and split the distance again and just kept going until I had basically no pins left because the package I had was already open. And I had just enough to pretty much put the pins about like a 1/4 to 1/2 inch apart from each other. And that was holding it pretty securely. Then I just had the fabric edges that I'd folded over that were kind of flopping around on the back. So for that, I just did a really wide lacing just to hold those down. And then I stitched down the corners the same way I've been doing on my smaller pieces to hold the corners nice and flat and give me a nice square corner. Now, you're not gonna see the corners because they're in the frame, like hidden behind it, but you know, just to keep it looking nice. I used this method of framing it because I wanted to make sure that if I ever do want to get this professionally framed, or if I want to frame it differently at some point, there's no glue on this, no nothing. I can cut the lacing in the back, pull out all of the pins, and the piece, you know, iron it up, the piece would be just fine. It's not attached to the front of the foam core in any way. It's just sitting on there and then pinned and laced into place. So I could totally take this apart at some point if I did want to take it to be professionally framed or something like that. But for right now, it's gonna be out, you know, 4 to 6 weeks, a year. And this was a great way for me to practice my framing skills. And I think it came out looking really great. So that is done. I'm just gonna set that down over there. So that is Kringles, all finished up, completely done, FFO'd. My daughter was asking this morning if we could decorate for Christmas this weekend, and I'm kind of inclined to say yes because I want to get my Kringles hung up. And we're not hosting Thanksgiving at our house this year or anything. We're going to be going to a family member's house. So, you know, I feel like, okay, my only thing that the only reason I don't want to decorate this weekend is because I just FFO'd my fall stuff and finally got that all done a couple of weeks ago. So that I feel like that stuff hasn't been out very long. Next year, I'll put it out probably when the kids go back to school, because that's kind of, though it still feels like summer then, it's kind of like the transition into fall because school is starting. So I'll probably put it out at the beginning of September, and it'll have been out for much longer, but right now it's only been out a couple weeks. But I do have a ton of Christmas stitching that I want to get put out, so that's kind of motivating me to get the decorating done. So we got a new Christmas tree this year because our one that we've had for years, the lights last year would not stay on. They would come on for 15 minutes, 30 minutes, and then they blink out and stay out for a while and come back on. And the whole thing had just, we'd had it for a few years, and so it was getting kind of wobbly and just was not in that great a shape. So we decided to just get rid of it after Christmas last year, and we bought a new one, which is sitting in the box out in the garage, and I'm ready to like get that out, set it up, because it's a brand new tree and that's fun. So maybe that'll happen this week. If it does, then in my next video, hopefully I can show you all of kind of a little parade of all of my previous Christmas finishes so you can see those. All right, let's move on. That was my only FFO, so let's move on to finishes. This is 2 ornaments that I stitched from the Croquette A Go-Go Calendario dell'Evento 2020. She is an Italian designer and she has an Etsy shop that you can check out if you are interested in those. So I stitched, this one I showed you last time was the little gingerbread house. I just picked out 2 of those, or let my daughters pick out 2 of those that they wanted stitched up for their ornament this year. And then this is for my other daughter. She wanted the little kitty cat and the mouse. I think it's taking extra long for things to focus today. Is that going? It does not seem to be. Let me get it on white paper. Sometimes that. Is it focusing? Is that, it looks really blurry to me, guys. Let's focus there. Okay, there you go. Now you can see it. Oh, I see. For some reason this is manual focus there, yeah? I don't know if I can change this while I'm recording. Okay, give me 1 second. I'm gonna turn it off, figure out this, why it says manual focus rather than autofocus, and then get this thing back on. Okay, be right back. Okay, here it comes. Let's see. Yes, it focuses, you guys. That's why I had trouble with Kringles. I'll show you the edge of Kringles in a second. Okay, so this was the second ornament. I just need to get those two FFO'd. And I think I showed in my last video, I have some little ornaments I got from the dollar spot at Target last year, just some little rectangular ornaments. I think I'm gonna finish it on there if I can figure out if that looks cute. All right, here we go. Kringles, the edge of Kringles, hide my face. There it is, look. Okay, so that's, you can see the line down the center where I used that pen to make my line to keep things straight, and then the pins that are, you know, just like a 1/2 or a 1/4 inch. You can see my finger, less than, you know. Okay, so there we go. That was Kringles. Okay, glad I noticed that and figured it out. Otherwise, I'd go through this entire video going, what the heck, why won't anything focus today? I'm not gonna go back and re-record this. So hopefully things weren't too blurry earlier on. I'm pressed for time as always, so we need to just keep going. All right, next project was a new start and a finish. It was my December Cottage of the Month from Fleur. She has a shop, and you can see, she's a French designer. Her shop, you can see the link to in my description box, okay? And this is White Christmas in December. So take a good look at the picture there. I changed up the colors quite a bit, and you can see in here, like there's snow all over the place. It's in, you know, like a snowstorm, and the tree is completely covered in snow. The roof is completely covered in snow. We just don't get snow like that where I live, especially in December. It's not normal that we would get snow in December. We usually do get some snow, but it's not usually until January and February are usually our like times that we have more snow. So I didn't really want a completely snow-covered Christmas scene. I like the idea of a white Christmas, but I wanted more of like the dusting of snow on top. And I was also trying to kind of coordinate the colors of this to my other Christmas pieces that I have that I'm going to display it with. So this is what I came up with. And I basically just stitched the tree in green, except for the outermost stitches I left in white, so it's kind of got a dusting of white on the top of the branches. And same thing with the roof. I just did the outer layer of the roof with snow kind of covering the top of it, and then just picked out a variegated brown. I want to say it was mud puddle, but then I think I didn't use mud puddle. I think I switched it to sticks and twigs. And then I just did a tan house with the red doors. It's got the candy canes down there, the little bird on the fence. So this came out super cute, and I think it's going to coordinate really well with my other projects that I have for Christmas to display it with. All right, then I had a piece that has been a UFO for a very long time. I'm pretty sure I talked about it at some point on Flosstube a while ago, maybe like a year ago or something, but I can't remember for sure. So I'll just go ahead and tell you the story from the beginning about it, because I know I've had a lot of new subscribers since then, so not everybody would have even heard the story. So I have two daughters. They are 9 and 11 now. Back when the oldest was about 5 years old, it was, you know, probably like 4 and a half. And well, really, I guess the story starts back when I was pregnant with her. I wanted to stitch a cross-stitch birth record for her. And I looked through all sorts of cross-stitch sites, searched for all sorts of birth records, trying to find a pattern I liked, and I never found anything. All the ones I found were more of like the cutesy with the little, you know, ducks and bears and things like that. And I didn't want that. I wanted something that would not just be in her nursery, but that she would have for a much longer period of time. And I never found anything that I liked. So I never ended up getting around to stitching anything. I did make both of my daughters a paper crafting birth record, you know, like printed out part of it on my computer and then did some paper crafting onto it. And they still to this day have those in their bedrooms and like them, and they're a little, they're not so cutesy, they're a little bit more mature, so they last longer to be on display. So when my oldest was, you know, like 4 and a half years old, I was like, all right, that's it. I have got to find a cross-stitch birth record. I want to cross-stitch something to commemorate her birth, and I need to find something. So I ended up not finding anything I loved, that was already a birth record, but I decided to go with 2 patterns. If you remember, do I have that around really easily accessible? Yes. Let me pull this out. I had done my wedding sampler. It was from the Sweetheart Tree, and it's a woodland violet or weeping violet or something like that. So this is it. I decided to do something in a similar style for each of them just because I couldn't find anything else that I liked. So I ended up picking this one, both from the Sweetheart Tree as well. This is the Sparkling Forget-Me-Not sampler. And then this one is Fanciful Roses sampler. And my plan was just to, in both of them, instead of stitching the alphabet right in this section, I would take the alphabet out and stitch in their birth details, which is what I did for the wedding sampler. In that section where it had the alphabet, I just recharted some information about our wedding. So I had started it, and I had stitched in all of her information in that section, and then this section of vines here underneath that, flowers and vines, I had stitched part of that. So I just had this section left to go. I had stitched all of that. And I sat there looking at it one day, and I was like, this isn't right. I don't like it. I love the sampler. I love the look of this. It's beautiful. The problem was it's me. It's not her. And so stitching it for her was wrong, and it wasn't the right thing to stitch as a birth record for her, because it wasn't her, it wasn't her personality, it wasn't her style, it was me. So I stopped stitching it and just put it away as a UFO, which is now 11, so probably it sat there for 6 years at this point. So I think about a year ago, I realized what I should do with it. It's me, it's my style, I love it. Stitch it for me with both of my daughters' information on there. So it becomes more of like a mother's record of my 2 daughters. And then I have my wedding sampler in the same style, and then the record of the birth of my children in the same style. So that is what I ended up doing. So I had to rip out this vine section down here. I had to rip out all of my older daughter's information that I'd already put in, because I needed to move it up and not use all of it. I was using the fabric that came in the kit, so it was already pre-cut to a certain length, and I didn't want to rip out everything up here, so I only had, you know, so much fabric down here at the bottom to use to put all the information in. So what I ended up doing was just cutting back, scaling back on what I put on it, and stitching both of them in, rearranging some of the bands in there to put a little bit of separation, and all of that. So all of that to be said, you're probably like, just show me the stitching already. It is absolutely gorgeous. So I'll show you back here, full thing first. It's a little larger than the wedding sampler, but that's fine. The place I'm planning on putting them, they'll be on 2 opposite walls facing each other, so you won't ever be like looking at both of them at the same time, but they'll be near each other. Like you'll see that they coordinate. So up close, can you see? Oh yeah, you can see the sparkly. It is, so the title is Sparkling Forget-Me-Not, and it really is sparkly. It's got beads, and then it's also got like sequins. They're called paillettes or something. Just absolutely gorgeous. So their names in there, and then the bottom half. It just came out beautifully. I love, love, love it. So that one is all done. All set. Now we're gonna have a little giveaway. So I have this version still, right? The Fanciful Roses. And the pink of the roses, my daughter loved pink. So that's why I was thinking, you know, I thought this one would be good for her because I thought it would be the right color for her. But again, the style is just not, it's not right for them. And I don't love the pink in the roses for me. That's not me. The purple one I did for my wedding and the blue one I did for the girls, like that's me. This pink is not me. So it's a gorgeous sampler. It's absolutely beautiful. It's very similar in style. It's got, you know, the vines and the roses and some weight work in there, all of that. It comes with this up here. So you get the chart, and then you get all of floss here. Get my head out of the way. You get the floss. It's got some DMC, and then it has a needle necessities in seashell. It's also got the pearl cotton that you need for doing the white work, and it's got the, can you see the little, yeah, it's got the little heart beads, and then it's also got all of the other color beads that you need. I think it's got it's got 3 other color of beads along with those 4 hearts. So it also comes with a John James tapestry needle and a John James beading needle as well. So it's got a lot of good stuff in here. The one thing that it does not have is the fabric. So like I said, I bought these probably 6 years ago, and I was not intending to use the fabric that comes with this one for it because it's, you can see in the picture, it's very white. I think it was an antique white. Yeah, it's antique white Belfast linen and 32 count. And I took the fabric out and used it for something else already. Because my plan was to get more of a tan beige colored fabric to do it on so that it would coordinate with the wedding sampler and the other birth record I did. So the fabric is long gone. It is not in here, but if you would like to enter to get this particular chart along with the floss and the beads and the needles, you can, let's just do the word roses. Put the word roses in your comment, okay? Somehow, if you use the word roses in your comment, I will assume you're interested in winning this, and it's nice and flat. I will just slip it into a prepaid envelope and get that out in the mail to you. So my next video, I will draw the winner in 2 weeks. So don't say giveaway, like, be a subscriber, all those things that everybody always says, and all these giveaways, all of y'all know the drill. Hopefully somebody's interested in this. I know it's not kind of my usual style or, you know, something typical that I would be stitching, but I thought that hopefully it can find a good home because it's not something that I'm going to use, and it really is a beautiful, beautiful pattern. So I'm going to put that over here so I don't misplace it, so we leave it right there for the next video. Okay, let's move on now. That is all of my finishes. Time to move on to WIPs. Okay, first up, my white paper is my Sal from Stroll Through the Seasons, which is a French blog. This is the Christmas version that I'm doing. I've already done summer and autumn and finished them into the drum. This is Noel. And this was part 4, I believe, is complete now. So we just have 2 more parts to do to get across the top up there, and then in order to get the motif that goes right, oh my goodness, right in here, you have to email her a picture of the rest of it completed, and then she emails you back a PDF that has that little piece. So we're getting close. This releases every other week. So this part came out last week, so we'll get part 5 next week, and then in another 2 weeks we'll have that center. So hopefully in just a few weeks here, I will be able to get those stitched up pretty quickly and get that finished up to display this Christmas. We'll see if I can get the FFO part done. That's the challenge. Okay, next up is my other Sal from Stroll Through the Seasons, which is the winter version. It's going on simultaneously with the Christmas version. It also releases the next part next week. So here's that one. There we go. A little closer. Okay, so that one is all stitched up. Then my other winter project that I've got is from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts, and it's the winter sampler banner. These I stitch up and they go on my shutter right up here. So I've changed up the colors just slightly, but not too much. I am trying to use the same color palette for all of my winter stitching. So that would be for my, sorry, I got loose threads everywhere, for that drum piece, this piece, and then the, I will do January, the January Cottage of the month in similar colors with this as well. So this is my start that I have on that. I think last time I had just started the row with winter. So I am working my way across on that one. I haven't worked on this one too much because I was really focused on keeping on top of my sals. I have 3 of them right now. And then also getting some of the Christmas stitching completely finished up and done. So it'll be ready to go. But I'll keep working on that one steadily. I'm just trying to work it in here and there and get a band done as I go along. All right, this is sal number 3. And this is from stephanieb.com. She is also a French blogger, and you can find the link to her blog in the description box below. This is a free heart hanger sal, and it's a beginner heart hanger piece. So this releases new sections every Monday. So we are now on, so last time I put in I think it was the hearts up here and the hearts here in the center. And that was released almost 2 weeks ago now. That is not from this week. That is from the previous week. This week on Monday, they released the sections where you have to cut into it. So that's the whole point of heart hanger, right? So I've stitched what they call the pavers or the cobblestones, this long loopy piece here, and then these that go across here. So this week I've got to cut out the threads in this open triangle space and in this open triangle space down here. And then I forget what they call the stitches. You take the thinner heart hanger thread and you wrap it around the threads that are left. Oh, bars. No, is that right? What do you call them? Yeah, I think it's called the bars. I don't remember for sure, but anyway, you wrap them around. There's different ways you can wrap them around the threads so that the spaces in here are filled in, kind of like they look like they're woven in different ways. So I have to do that. But you guys, it's election week here in the US. My stress is really high between that and then our school schedules changed this week. I mentioned at the very beginning of the video, you know, we flip-flopped around some of the days in their school schedules to help balance the workload. So that's been a bit stressful. It was the end of the quarter and now this is the beginning of a quarter. That's been a little bit of a high stress situation. And we're also closely watching our school board to figure out what the board and the administration is going to do about school for next semester, what the options are even going to be for the kids either working at home or staying at, you know, going to school, and what's happening with all of that. So it's just been really, really stressful. I've made so many counting mistakes and done so much frogging on my other pieces that I said cutting into something is not a good idea this week. So I'm hoping over the weekend I can have some nice calming time, really study. The directions she has for these steps are amazing. So she's got 3 different tutorials written up, plus the patterns for how to cut out these sections and then how to fill them back in, how to stitch the bars. So fantastic directions, but I need to study that. I need to have some like calming music playing and be fully caffeinated and all the things before I attempt the cutting, because I don't want to, it's looking great and I don't want to screw it up now. All right, so those are my 3 sals. Then I worked a little bit on, I think this is my last cross stitch with, 101 alphabets. I found the thing that I can stitch on right now and focus on right now is Backstage Alphabets. So I have just been working my way through some tiny motifs in this and working on some backstitch. And I've been working on it today. I didn't want to take it off and iron it yet again. So here is how much I have done. I'm working on this page by page. So I am on page 3 and everything I worked on is in here so you can see that. So I had all of this stuff over here done before. This week I did this flower vine motif up here, this little purple flower right there, and then this lovely backstitch alphabet I just finished this morning. So this has been an easy piece because if you're off by a stitch or half a stitch or whatever somewhere, it's really not that big of a deal. For the most part, you know, just squish something else over a teensy bit. Like, it's fine. You can fudge something like this that's just all these little patterns and things together, you know? So, why is it all... There we go. But I think it's coming out great. I've seen several people on Instagram posting like up close pictures of, you know, just a small section of this that they've completed. And it's really motivating me to work on it because I'll see, you know, some cute little motif that I'm like, oh, I want to get to the part that has that. And so it's kind of motivating me to keep working on this and get going. This is going to be a really, really long project. So get used to seeing it. It's got 54 sections that are full page patterns. So long-term project. All right, let's move on to petit point. So, okay, where did my, must have gotten caught in that fabric and I lost it. Oh, here it is. Oh, okay. Problem with working on tiny projects, they're easy to disappear. Okay, so this is from a website. Her name is C-A-R-I-N-N-E, and I'm not sure how you pronounce that. She's French, again, of course. Carrie-Anne, I'm not sure how you pronounce it in French, but she has a blog with all sorts of free patterns on it. And I had downloaded these quite a while ago. So this is a negative and a positive version of the same pattern, and I stitched it in a tiny little pillow for my scale dollhouse. There we go. So it's the same pattern. It's just charted. One side has the ivory as the background, one side has the burgundy as the background, and I used the whip stitch to stitch it together. Is that focusing? Can't tell, it's so tiny I can't see that far away. And then I filled it with a tiny bit of polyfill and glass beads. The glass beads that don't have any hole that you can use like for crafting, or apparently nail art is the big thing, what I've found. So that is it. It will sit on one of the chairs in my dollhouse. Or maybe a bed. Then I think I worked on this one since last time, so I'm going to show it to you again. It's the rug. It is the Kansu Destiny Knot carpet from making miniature Chinese rugs and carpets, or something like that. So I think last time I showed it to you, I had this outer border right here done, and I started doing just the first few stitches here for the next, which is essentially the last border that goes around. So that is coming along very slowly. Requires a lot of counting and being very careful, so I didn't work on that much either, but I did put a few little stitches in, so I wanted to show them to you. All right, next craft, quilting. Can you tell I'm like totally anxious and just can't focus and jumping around on everything? I've got all the projects and doing all the things because I just cannot settle and focus. All right, quilting. I have been working on my Christmas quilt, which is, the fabric is Christmas Traditions by Riley Blake, and then the pattern is Scrappy Strip Quilt or something like that. It is a jelly roll friendly pattern, and it's from McCall's Quilting. So last time I showed you, I had, I think, 4 squares connected together and then 2 squares connected together. It's going to be 6 squares across and then 8 squares big squares down. So I have gotten all 8 rows attached together. So 6 squares attached together, and I've got 8 rows of those. I hope you can see this because I can't see what I'm doing. Okay, there we go. I think we're okay. So there we go. That's an example of one. So I've got 6 of them all together. This is going to be a bit of a monster-sized quilt. I don't know, for some reason I felt that I needed to make it larger than the previous one that I made. This is only like my second large quilt that I've made. And then my only other quilted piece I made was a blanket for my daughter's Barbie. So it was like, you know, this big. But I don't know why I felt I needed to make it a lot bigger. This thing is going to be like a monster-sized throw blanket. But whatever, I have all the squares made, and I don't know, I thought it was like, oh, well, I could take some of them and make them into a table runner or something. I'm like, the table's always covered in stuff. I'm never going to put out a table runner. I don't have a table that I can put it out on that it could just be there as decoration. So whatever, I'm going to stick it all on this blanket and it'll be a gigantic throw blanket, and who cares, whatever. I don't, like, just get it done. Christmas is coming, get it done. So that's coming along. All I have left to do is attach all of the rows together and then put the binding on it. So it's close, it is not that far away. It's just having time to sit and work on it and get it done. So hopefully I can have some time over the weekend to get that, because during the week it seems to be a lot harder to find time to sit down and quilt. All right, let's move on to haul. Gotta move. Oh yeah, see, this is my stack of all my rows together, so they gotta go somewhere. Put them over here on top of the sewing machine. Okay, haul. So I'm making an order. I had, I don't know, it was last week. I had so many headaches. I don't know why. I just kept waking up in the middle of the night with headaches, and I think the weather was changing a lot, and I mean, who knows, right? Like, who knows why, but whatever. Point is, I did, and I'd wake up in the morning. My plan would be to get up and stitch real early before people got up, but I'd wake up with these monster headaches and I just couldn't stitch, but I could browse the internet and buy things. So I got, this is all sliding down here. So I got some fabric. This is Naughty or Nice by Basic Gray from Mona. And it is another Christmas color, set of Christmas colors. Can you see that? Yeah, that's not too bad. All sorts of pretty colors. And my plan is to make a Christmas tree skirt. So I've had a Christmas tree skirt that I kind of made for, oh my gosh, it's probably 15 years old. It was a round tablecloth that I think actually I had my mom cut the slit up and cut a circle in the center and put some binding tape on it. All of the Christmas tree skirts that I can find in the stores that I like are not machine washable. And both the cat I have now and the cat I had previously and my dogs that I've had all sleep under the tree. And the cat that we currently have also, if she feels the need to have a hairball, likes to pack up the hairball onto the Christmas tree skirt. I need a machine washable Christmas tree skirt for this reason. I can just toss it in there, wash it, dry it, stick it back under the tree, we're done. It's just easier than trying to keep the cat from being under there or whatever. And she loves it. That's her favorite place to sleep at Christmas. That's her thing. And I'm like, that's fine. I'll just make sure I have a machine washable skirt. It's no big deal. So the tablecloth I felt like was a good solution. But like I said, it's 15 years old and I'm just like, I'm tired of the style. And now that I know how to quilt, I want to quilt one because if I quilt it and make it myself, I can easily wash it and dry it and no big deal. So I got this. I don't think I'm going to get it made this year. I think it's just going to be too much to get done with everything else going on, but I thought I'd get the fabric and have it so I'm ready to go and I can get it made during the year sometime. So I got the white to go with it that I'll mix in. I think the pattern I picked out, I can't remember what it was called, but I think it was like half square triangles. So I thought that would be a good, I haven't ever tried them before, so this will be a good way to like get into it and try to start them. And see how it goes. And then I also got red for the backing, which this seems like a massive quantity of the red. Why did I get so much red? Am I using this for something else too? Oh, yeah. I know why. Because I only need, this is a layer cake and there's 42 squares in it. I only need 12 of these squares to make the Christmas tree skirt. So I'm gonna have a ton of these left over. So I got some fabric because I thought I could also stitch some of these into pillow covers to go, I have like several 20-inch pillows on my sofa. And so I thought in that room I could stitch up, find a pattern and stitch some pillow covers to go, some quilted pillow covers. So the red will be for the back of those pillow covers. That's what it was. I was like, why did I get so much fabric, you guys? This is what happens when you make plans early in the morning when you have a bad headache and then you can't remember what you're doing. And then, oh, I also forgot to show you this last time. I found this tucked away in my bag. This is the floss sticks from Fat Quarter Shop for the classic Colorworks colors. And this is Magic Black. So it's all blacks and like brown black colors. And this one cauldron, it's really like quite a purpley black as well. White paper. There we go. Yeah, there you go. So I've got those colors. Oh, and then when I was ordering that fabric, I was, you know, just a few dollars away from getting the free shipping, and I'd rather pay for another item than do the free shipping. I keep seeing the quilters that I follow on YouTube using one of these wood clappers. So this one is by Riley Blake and it's called a Tailor's clapper. It's just a piece of wood, solid piece of wood. It's something about the type of wood it's made out of, I guess. The idea is when you are ironing your seam, you iron it, you get it nice and hot, you iron it open or iron it to one side, whatever, and then immediately you stick this on top and set the piece to the side and let it cool. And this really helps get the seams totally flat. So, do I need this? I don't know, it's fun. So, I've got it, I used it. I did notice that my seam was flatter when I used it. So, I don't know, we'll see how it goes. See if I keep using it. All right, so, that's my stuff. That's on my haul. Let's move on to plans. All right, I've done well with my Christmas situation. I have all of my Christmas stitching done except for the Noel Sal, which I can't like finish that because the pieces are still coming out, right? But everything else I've gotten done that I had planned to do and that I had started. My only other thing to finish for Christmas is the quilt, and that is in good shape. I definitely could sit down and finish. Like if I sat down and just stitched all day one day, I could have it done, or like several days working a few hours a day, definitely can have that done. So we're getting there. It's just a matter of me like focusing, having the attention span to do it and get it done. So I'm gonna work on that. Where is it? Oh, here. I did decide we will use this Christmas countdown buffalo check Christmas tree as the piece for the advent calendar that I'm going to stitch. So I'm going to work over the next year getting all of the little pieces stitched up to go on it, but that will be the plan. Everybody who commented when I asked what should I do, should I frame it or use that tree, everybody said this tree, and then my kids were like, yes, the tree. So this year they want to use the blocks. So we've got, I double checked before the video, it is 48 days until Christmas as of today. So we are using our countdown already and we'll keep up with that, keep it counting down. The kids love it. What else? What else? I need to get the ornaments FFO'd. That is like high priority, especially if we're gonna put the Christmas tree up this weekend. I have to have the ornaments ready. So that's gotta get done, finish the Christmas quilt, and then work on my two winter pieces right now are the winter sampler banner that goes up here on my shutter. I need that ready for January, and then I need the Sal to get done that I'm finishing into the drum. And then I'm also, at some point, I need to stitch January Cottage. That will be my final Cottage, and then the whole set will be done. I'll show them all to you when I have them all done and all FFO'd. My plan was to stitch January in December, like if I stayed on track with what I've done all year, but I might go ahead and get January started early so that I can get it done and out of the way before all like the crazy holiday stuff starts, just so I can be sure that I have it done and ready. So that's kind of what I have coming up for plans, but then I have to look up their YouTube name because I'm forgetting. It's a mother-daughter duo that I have been watching on YouTube. So give me 1 second to go look them up here. Oh, here, it's up, gonna be up at the top. It is, they call themselves Crafty Cottage Stitches on YouTube. It's a mother-daughter duo, and they each have different names on Instagram, which is where like I tend to see them and interact with comments with both of them on Instagram more. So I was like, what is their YouTube name? Because it's different than what they each use separately on their Instagram accounts. But I've been watching them. They are new floss tubers. They have 2.5 floss tube videos out. The half video was just this past weekend. I got up on Saturday morning and I was stitching and watching their new video, which is all of their Christmassy things that they're going to start stitching and kind of be doing. I don't know if they have a name for it, but they're stitching a ton of Christmas stuff, like getting a lot of stuff started and getting a lot of stuff done. The mom does quilting as well, and she's got some really cool quilting things, and I'm like, oh, look at all that fabric, I love it. Probably one of the things that influenced that Sunday morning Christmas tree skirt fabric buying. But now that like watching that made me want to start all the Christmas things. So back for Jolly July, I had originally, before July started, thought I might take like stitch on a different project each week in July. Rather than starting a ton of stuff, just pick a project and stitch on it for each of the 4 different weeks. But I ended up kind of changing that plan up and really focusing on Kringles. And then I also really focused on the Red House in winter so I could get that totally done and finished. And I didn't end up starting anything else for Christmas because I just wanted to focus on what I already had and then focus on some of my other whips and like just kind of get into that. But I had gone through and gone through all my Christmas patterns that I have, and I had pulled out some I really wanted to do. And I still have that pile that had been sitting over here on my sideboard. So I was looking through it again because after watching their video, I'm like, well, maybe I could just start with one of those things. Because I have learned about myself, if I start all the things, I get very stressed having so many things started and so many whips. I like to touch and work on all of my whips frequently. And the more things you have, the harder that is to do. So one of the things that I could potentially start, I wouldn't have time to finish it, is this Redwork sampler. So I do it a little bit differently. So this was from a magazine. It was from a digital magazine subscription. And I think it's Christmas Cross Stitch Treasures is the name of it. I think it didn't print out like the issue and stuff when I printed this part. I have to go back and look in the file and see to get more information on it. But anyway, it says in like the project notes, create your own variations of the Redwork samplers by mixing and matching the motifs and adding personalization with the alphabet. So that got me thinking, like I could take, I need a Christmas piece to go here on the shutter. So Kristen from Sapphire Mountain Handcrafts has the 4 seasons, but I've stitched winter to be very wintry colors and not at all like in my Christmassy color red and green scheme. So the winter version really isn't going to go with my Christmas stuff. So I kind of want to stitch something Christmassy to go there. And I had found this when I was looking through my Christmas patterns. So my thought was I will mix and match the different bands from these two, pick and choose the ones that I like to make it the right length to fit here. Because it's the right width, I just need to get the right length. So I've charted that all up. And I'm not going to stitch it entirely in red. I'm going to do, for example, the tree in green, some of the snowflakes and things in white. So it'll be in the same color scheme as, ooh, geez, the afternoon sun here. Since the time change, it's definitely a different time than I'm usually being in here. I guess I need to start videos earlier so we don't get that horrible glare from the sun when it starts to come in here directly. It's all right, we're very close to being done. We'll wrap this up. So I'm going to stitch it in this color scheme, this red and green and white color scheme. So it will coordinate with my other Christmassy stuff. So I could start this. I won't finish it for this year. It's just too big. It's not going to happen, but I could start it. Another one, I love this one. It's from Collection Tralala. I have not stitched any of hers before. And this one, in English, it would be Tableau in Winter. There's is she Italian? I think she's Italian. Maybe French. No, this is French because winter's in French. So I'll let you figure out. That's the French name. Collection Tralala. And it is this adorable little deer and bunny and birds with the mushrooms. And look at that birdhouse on the stand. It's like an adorable little real house. Love this one. Love it. So I could start this one. Maybe even finish. I'm not sure. 117 by 78. That's not that big. I also have the Cranberry Christmas from Hands On Design. I love all of these. I want to get these stitched up. I want to stitch them up in the same, in the silk colors that I used for one of my candle wraps and for the 12 Days of Christmas piece that I did. I want to stitch these up so they all can go and be displayed together. Love that. And then I also have this book. It's a leisure arts book, Sweet Nothings for Christmas. And it's from 2011. So a couple of years ago, I stitched up this one with all the 4 wreaths. So I have that piece done, but there are others like this house down here. Love that. So cute. Same thing with this wreath up here, the big wreath. I love that one too. There's some other ones as well. Is this the same? No, see, this house is different. I don't necessarily want to stitch all of the sampler stuff down here, but that house is adorable. So there's quite a few in here. And I feel like my attention span right now could handle a small piece like this, or it could handle like starting something that's just like focus on a band and get it stitched. I could start the Advent pieces to go on here, but it requires a lot of math because I've got to figure out what count fabric I'm going to stitch on, you know, what size I need it to be to go on that tree. And then do I have a big enough piece of fabric? I got to figure out how much fabric I need to stitch all of them on a different piece of fabric. And do I even have a large enough piece of fabric to cut up to do that? I don't know. And that just requires too much brain power and decision-making capabilities, and I just don't have them. The anxiety is just too bad this week. I think if I sit back further, the sun, there we go. The sun won't be glaring so badly. So I think it might be a school break time as well. Okay, so anyway, do I start all the Christmassy things? Do I just stick with the whips that I have and focus on them? What do I do? I don't know. I guess come back next video and you'll find out what I was up to. All right, you want to say hi? Mm. You made it just in time. I showed them your Christmas ornament. Oh. That was out of your gingerbread house.
Can I see it?
Yeah, it's in the pile there somewhere. This pile. Or that pile. I don't know. There's piles everywhere now. Anyway, I'm all done. Thank you for watching. Click down below to like this video and subscribe to my channel so you can get alerted when I put another one up. I should be back in about 2 weeks, and I'll see you then. Happy stitching, everybody. Bye.